G'day viewers and welcome to another ONSIDESA soccer show. Stevie Braham, our UK correspondent, will be joining us shortly from London. But joining me is our regular super sub, Manic Rangers league winner Gavin Radford. Gav,
yeah, Budge, good to be
coming
here again. Yeah, nice to be back in the studio and have a few chirps with the boys.
Yeah, how's the punting going?
It's been tough. I think the supporters not being at stadiums is causing havoc with the results.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been easy, but we fight on.
Yeah, what can we do? Talking of fighting on, last one standing. We head into last weekend, week 6. We had 96 entries going through. 47 survived the cut. 36 were on Southampton, 3 were on Leicester, and 3 were on Newcastle. Those that perished were 22 on Liverpool, 18 on Arsenal, 3 each on Wolves and Chelsea, 2 on Tottenham, and 1 on Leeds United. We had and have a midweek round of fixtures. Of those 47, 24 are on Aston Villa, who play tonight against Burnley. 7 are on Man United, who play at Sheffield United tonight. But of the balance of the 16, only 2 went through. The guys that went out, 6 were on West Ham, 2 were on Crystal Palace, Fulham and Leicester, while 1 each on Arsenal and Chelsea. Both ended up getting beaten. The 2 that survived were both on Leeds. One is Dave O'Connor. Dave is a passionate Leeds man who, when I sent him his congratulations this morning, he was more worried about the trip to Old Trafford than selecting for week 7 on the weekend. And the other one is a former winner and a great mate of our show, Henry Nordi, known as King Henry for all his efforts over the years. Survived. Gav, if he wins this...
Oh, we're not going to hear the end of this.
Well, you won't.
He's going to tell us. But good luck to Henry. He's done really well in this competition. He's run deep in a lot of the series.
Yeah,
so if he
good
wins
judge,
it, good luck to him.
Henry. If he wins this,
Snaky.
I'm sure he'll be giving lectures.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have it for a long time to come.
But before the 2, Dave and Henry can gloat, just remember you two, Man United play Sheffield United and Aston Villa play Burnley. We'll be joined very shortly by our UK correspondent, Stevie Braham, who no doubt watched his beloved Fulham draw at Brighton last week. Steve, good morning.
Good morning.
Steve, I just mentioned it 0-0 last night. Happy with the point?
Yeah, I think so. On reflection of the way the game went, I thought Brighton, Graham Potter's a good manager. He obviously watched us, and they didn't let us play like we did. But Scott Parker was very honest at the end of the game. He said that we were pretty flat. I think they put a lot into that game against Liverpool on Sunday, and there wasn't quite as much left in the tank. But a clean sheet and another point, and I think earlier in the season we would have lost that game. So I think we're starting to take shape. 5 points in the last 4 games, and against obviously we point against Liverpool was could even have been 3. So I think overall we're happy with that.
Yeah, I agree. You just look a far better team. I was critical of Scott Parker just for his defensive negativity or negligence, but I've been really impressed. Liverpool was a great result. Let's hope we can get something at Newcastle. Talking of Liverpool, Steve, they squeaked in last night against Tottenham. I'm sure you watched the highlights?
Well, I had it on. I had my game on the TV and the Liverpool game on the iPad.
Okay.
So I was sort of catching bits of both. It looked like they did. I thought Tottenham, by the looks of it at the end, thought they'd probably just done enough. But and to see Firmino sort of outjump everybody in school with his head, that doesn't happen very often. So big result for Liverpool. Keeps them clear at the top now.
Yeah. I'm so disappointed in Spurs. Harry Kane and Son could play in any forward line. I looked to the Liverpool team and I sent it to a good mate of mine, Alec Petts, and I thought they were under pressure. But this Mourinho parking the bus, I don't know what do you think he's trying to do. I know all the fans are disappointed that they haven't won trophies like us United guys, and I know he won us 3 trophies. But in the end, it's not going to work. And players like Harry Kane, in my opinion, they're not going to be happy with the way they're playing.
No, I mean, look, they've obviously won a few games this year where they've sat back and caught teams on the break.
Yeah.
But Liverpool put them under a lot of pressure from what I saw, and I guess you can't just keep sitting back and hoping for the best. And they had 1 or 2 chances themselves, Tottenham.
Yeah.
I guess if they'd have pinched that draw, he probably would have been happy with it. But they need to bounce back and get a result at the weekend.
Yeah, I must say. Talking of midweek fixtures, I thought Chelsea were good things to beat Wolves. But those 2 German players, Steve, they seem to have gone missing.
Yeah, I mean, Werner, obviously started well, scored a few goals. Havertz hasn't really cracked it for me yet. When they took the lead, I thought, oh, well, here we go, this is it. And then, Wolves fought very strongly and scored a good winner at the end. So I think, Frank Lampard's going to be pretty disappointed with that performance and that result in the end.
Yeah, what was strange, we get ESPN here, and there's several guys who are having a go at Lampard, and my opinion is I would rather lose trying to win than lose like Mourinho did trying to play for the draw, because if they had grabbed the winner, everyone would have said what a genius he is. Now they got beat 2-1, they're all having a go at Lampard, and I think that's totally wrong.
Yeah, I'm maybe a little bit harsh to have, for people to have a go at him, because you say, they didn't play badly. I think they just got undone. Wolves, scored a couple of good goals.
Yeah. Steve, the shock of the season so far, in my opinion, was Man City drawing 1-1 with West Brom. If the result wasn't bad, how the hell can they fire Slaven Bilic and replace him with Sam Allardyce? Surely that's madness.
I watched the game, and actually, on the balance of play, on another day, Man City probably would and could have had a hatful. They missed so many chances. But fair play to West Brom. They dug in. They probably a little bit unlucky with their second half performance at Newcastle as well. I suspect they'd already made their mind up, because the fact they sacked Bilic and brought in Allardyce within an hour or so, it was obviously already arranged. So I feel sorry for Bilic, because obviously one assumes that after they lost to Crystal Palace, that the board obviously made their mind up, and it almost didn't matter what he did at Newcastle or at City. The deal was done. As to whether I get the impression that West Brom fans are not overly happy with the appointment of Allardyce. But he's got that experience. But you're not going to get inspiring, expansive football. So
yeah. No, they're not for me. The worst thing for me, Steve, I thought they deserved to beat Newcastle. They played really well. They gave away a goal in the first 20 seconds. I'm really disappointed for West Brom, and now I do hope they go down. Steve, on to the weekend's Premiership fixtures. Can Southampton upset Man City?
Well, they during the end of last season, they did against the run of play and pinched the goal. But I've been really impressed with them. They play so well as a team, and City are just not firing on all cylinders. It's just something not quite right. They really should have won that game on the other day comfortably, and they didn't. I think it's the sort of game that if City click, they probably will win. Southampton tend to sort of fire better at home, but they played well at Arsenal. They played very well at home to Sheffield United. I think it'll be close, but I just feel that if City get their game together, they might just be a little bit too strong.
Okay, now one team I was going to make my best bet of the weekend was Everton to beat Arsenal. But Allen getting injured has tempered my hopes, even though all my bets are on already. How do you see that one going?
Well, that's interesting you say that, because yet again I think we're going to go for the same team, because that is my best bet. Okay. I just think Arsenal just seem a little bit of a shambles at the moment. Obviously the discipline at the club is just woeful. 3 red cards in the last 5 games. Had they have lost last night, and they could easily have done that, that would have been 5 home defeats in a row, which they've never had in their entire history. As it is, it's their worst start to a season for, I've just read, 45 years. Arteta must be under a lot of pressure there. There's no question. So, I know they obviously want to give him time, but there's something lacking there at the club at the moment. Yeah,
it looks like he's got to get rid of a few players. The problem is, who's going to buy them? That's Man United's problem.
They won't get much money for them, and he can't find his best 11 at all. He chops and changes all the time. Players, Aubameyang scored a decent goal, but he's been out of form. Lacazette, their big name players have just not been firing for them.
Yeah, true. I've got a word to mention for you. Pochettino, how would that go down well at the Emirates?
Probably not at all, I should think. But if they carry on, if they lose another game or two, I think they'll probably be screaming for anybody to come in and replace Arteta. Maybe it was just a bit too big a job for him first time. But no, obviously, I think people want to see him do well, and obviously won silverware at the end of the season. So I think people had high hopes, and they started with sort of 3 wins out of 4. But since then, it's sort of 1 win in the last 9, which isn't good enough.
Yeah. Talking about good enough, can your boys be good enough to get at least a point at Newcastle?
I think so. I think we can. I mean, obviously, Newcastle are a funny sort of side. I mean, they have got a few goals in them, but yesterday I was watching sort of highlights. They completely capitulated against sort of Leeds, sort of 3 late goals. I think we just got to keep it tight. I mean, a draw isn't a bad result, but we do need to find a win because come in the next few games, and we got tough games coming up with Southampton and Tottenham. So I think this is a game that we need to target, but it's one we mustn't lose.
Yeah, I agree. Just keeps collecting points, Steve. You slowly but surely you'll climb the table. Now, one team that'll be puking this morning will be Tottenham. Can you see them getting back to winning ways against the Leicester City side, who I watched last night, were disappointing?
Yeah, I think they can. Although Leicester away seem to be the way they play, the way Brendan Rodgers sets them up. It tends to suit them playing away from home, where they sit back. At home is where they've been undone. They've lost several games. I think Tottenham will want to bounce back. I think he will need to take the game to them, though, because otherwise they're both going to be sitting back and hoping to catch the other on the break. But I think I fancy Tottenham just to edge that.
Okay, and last but not least, the Uniteds, Man United, Leeds United. How do you see that? I know Man United play tonight. Can you see Leeds give them a hard game?
I think they will. I think Leeds have got nothing to fear, and in their own minds they have a go, and they certainly did yesterday. I think there'll be a close game. Be interesting to see how United do tonight, because obviously a win tonight for them and a win against Leeds, and they're sort of back up there in the table.
Second place.
I think I fancy United tonight. I think they might just edge that against Leeds, but I think there'll be goals in it without doubt.
All right, Steve, on to the Championship. I know now you're in the Premiership, you haven't got much time for the Championship, but Norwich have come right, won 7 of the last 9. You think they'll be too good for Cardiff City?
Although Cardiff, to be fair to them, on a bit of a decent run. They left it late, got a late winner last night, but Norwich are just starting to put some results together. They got a late penalty win last night at Reading. They find themselves now, all of a sudden, they're now 6 points clear of third place.
Yes.
Fairly comfortable position for them to be in at this stage now. Daniel, he's just getting the best out of his players at the moment, and they just, I think they will edge that, but they're not winning. They're not winning games by many, but they're just doing enough. So fancy a home win there.
All right. Now I watched the Brentford-Watford game because I've got a head-to-head bet with my mate in England. I'm on Watford, he's on Brentford, but Brentford played well of the two. I thought they should have won of the game, but do you think they'll beat Reading on Saturday?
Again, you're not kind of sure what you're going to get with Reading. I mean, they've had a good run recently after their sort of little slip. I think Watford might be too strong, though. I think that they've been playing quite well. Again, not always winning, but just doing enough.
Yeah. Sorry, see, that was Brentford. You say Brentford beat Reading?
Sorry. No, Brentford. Yeah, Brentford. I think will be too strong.
Okay, so you think Watford will beat Huddersfield away?
Yeah, I think they will. Though Brentford are putting a run together. I know. I mean, obviously they had a player sent off, but
yes,
still came on strong. So I think a lot of teams, fancy sort of Brentford, even though they sold 2 of their best players, and they got Ivan Toney, who's got probably going to end up as a top goal scorer this season. So I think you're right to be too strong.
All right. Now, one team that the bookmakers have got favourites to go up is Bournemouth. Luton Town at home, a difficult proposition. How do you see that one going?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Luton at home are strong, but Bournemouth had 1 or 2 wobbles, but I think they're just consolidating that place up there in second place. I think they will be too strong for them. They've got goals in them, Bournemouth. With players like Solanke and Brooks, I think they will be too strong for them.
Okay, now watch Swansea City get outplayed last night by Wayne Rooney's Derby. How do you see them reacting against Barnsley?
Well, yeah, I was surprised about that. I thought that they were doing, and looking at the stats, Derby were completely on top, had a lot of chances. So, Barnsley are a funny side. I mean, they got beaten, but, they've been clawing their way up that table. I think it will be close. I fancy Swansea to edge it, but I think, Barnsley are not an easy team to beat at the moment. Yeah,
they beat Preston. My boys are midweek. Yeah. Steve, now the pressure. You're giving me your best bet at Everton. I think they're 14-10. Who's your best value bet?
I'm going to go for Stoke City. I think at home they're pretty strong. Blackburn do concede goals, so they score, but they do concede, and not quite so good on the road. So I fancy Stoke City. As I say, they're just they're hovering around that sort of bottom of the playoff, catching the playoff teams. So, I think it'll be a close game, but I fancy Stoke there.
All right, Steve, just to let you know, my best bet is Tottenham. I think they'll rebound. I watched Leicester last night. They got no defenders. I think Johnny Evans is still suspended. They were woeful at the back. And I fancy Derby County. I was going to make them my best bet, 16-10.
Okay.
Really impressed what I saw of them last night. I think since Rooney's taken over, 2 wins and 4 draws, they look good last night, and I think they're going to climb the table.
Well, I think he's just starting to get them playing. He's got he's got quite a few young players in the team, and I think they're obviously just starting to play for him. So, I think they will get out of that bottom 3. I have no doubt about that. But and it's leaving, at the bottom now. It's leaving Sheffield Wednesday having a terrible run. Tony Pulis, who had this record of not having teams relegated. I think he's under a lot of pressure there. No wins in 8, so I think they're struggling Wednesday.
Yeah, it's like Chris Hughton. I've always been a lover of him, but they're both defensive managers, and they don't seem to get their team scoring many goals.
Yeah. Well, Forest obviously bounced back with a win.
Yes.
It was a big game during the week to beat Wednesday, but it's leaving Wednesday and Wickham as well. I think we always thought that Wickham were going to be in the bottom 2. Yeah. They try hard, but they just haven't quite got the squad to compete, I think. But Sheffield Wednesday, finding themselves even with that minus 6 points, they're still adrift.
Yeah.
I think Pulis has got to turn some of these lacklustre performances and start picking points up.
All right. Steve, thank you very much. Just to let you know that Paul is on Man United tonight, so if they do win and you hear a noise, that's Paul going through the last one standing till next week.
If United don't win that, I think will be a surprise. But Sheffield United at home have been competitive.
Yeah, they have been. Yeah,
been losing by the odd goal, and they can't play as bad as they did the other day because they were really poor at Southampton.
Let's hope they do keep Ollie and all us Man United supporters in a good mood. Again,
however poor United have been on side, they keep winning games.
Yeah,
I guess it's that's what the fans want. Ultimately.
Couple of wins, we top 4. 2 wins, we're 2 points behind Liverpool. We can dream. But anyway, let's not get that excited. Steve, thank you very much. Okay. We'll speak to you next week. All the best, Steve.
Cheers. Bye.
Gav, big game United tonight. Comfortable victory?
Yeah, big game. I think, like you're saying, 2 points off Liverpool. If we get these games in hand, we win them. So we're back in it. People will start dreaming, believe you me. But I think we're a little bit off the pace still.
Yeah.
I think what should be happening is that Ollie should to get a little bit of composure into the team and pick a select team that plays 2 or 3 games in a row. At the moment, we're chopping and changing the players. It looks like formations are being tweaked with to accommodate some of the players. I just want to see some consistency, and then we can work from there. Well,
let's hope he goes with Bruno and the 3 boys up front, only 2 midfield players. I think that's United's problem. He's so worried about the back, the 2 centre-halves. He's playing an extra midfield player, and there should be 1 extra player up front.
Yeah, this tic-tac soccer from the back, from the place kicker, I don't believe in that.
Neither do
I. It's too risky. That.
On to the weekend. Big game on Saturday. Could this be an upset in the making? Crystal Palace against Liverpool. Liverpool, great result last night, but Benteke got sent off. If Benteke had been available, the set-piece route one could have been an upset. Liverpool again, though, Gav?
Yeah, Liverpool, it's hard to believe that they've drawn 4 and won one of their last 5 away games, and they're on top of the league. You would think Liverpool would be too strong, but Crystal Palace is one of those teams that just niggle at you all the time, and they've got a match winner and so up front. Yeah. He can hurt you, but you would think Liverpool would be too strong.
Yeah, lunchtime kickoff, so it doesn't do anybody any favours. They both played last night, but as I've been told, it's all about the TV money. So the TV guys make the fixtures. That's the fixtures. Don't worry about it.
Games like this will benefit Crystal Palace with no crowds and things like that more than what Liverpool will. I think Liverpool need that crowd behind them, and you can see they almost suck the ball into the net over there.
Tight game, and remember, this is the team. I think there's still a bit of aggro. Remember the 3-0 up cost them the league a few years ago.
And the games are coming thick and fast now, so there's lots of games coming up in the next month.
So. A bit of fancy Liverpool, even though they have drawn their last 4 away from home. Now, I think the betting's all wrong here. I know Southampton played last night. Man City don't score many goals. 4-10.
There's something wrong with the Man City team at the moment. I don't think it's the players and the manager problem. I think there's just lacking in that last pass or the third pass. Southampton team I've always liked them because they're a nice ball playing team, and I think they play very similar to what the Man City guys do. But you would think Man City at 4-10 have got the players to hurt you.
I just think,
So it's a tough game. One team that's definitely in form in Southampton, and a team that's struggling to score goals.
Yeah, they've only lost one of the last 11, Southampton. That was against Man United, and they didn't really deserve to lose that. But betting strange, I think it's more on reputation. But, you know, Man City, I don't never back against them because they could humiliate you and win 3-0. Now, I made Everton my best bet. I watched them last night against Leicester. I know Schmeichel dived over the first one, but defensively they look a lot better. But Allen went down, and he's the midfield player. After he went down, Gomez came on, and Leicester came back into it. Arsenal, I don't know.
Arsenal, I mean, such a good side, but they've got too many ill-disciplined players in their team.
Yeah.
And it's Everton team that's going to give you nothing on their patch.
Yeah.
This could be a really tough game for Arsenal. And I think I'm leaning towards Everton to win this one.
Yeah, I banked them in all my exotics. I thought 15-10, I'm already on. You know, Pickford never played. I don't know whether that's down to an injury or we got dropped. But you can't back it. You can't, you know, no. I just think that's a great price. 15-10 will more than likely shorten. But I fancy Everton. Now, can Steve's Fulham upset Newcastle?
Yeah, this is my bet of the weekend. After drawing with Liverpool and playing so well, and show that when they go forward, they've got players that can run and hurt you. They got behind the Liverpool back four on so many occasions. I thought, well, what are these guys doing on the bottom of the league?
Yeah.
And Newcastle last night gave away 5 to Leeds, so it didn't do their defensive game any good. I think it's a tough game because both teams are very erratic, but I'm leaning towards Fulham to win this one.
Yeah, I think if you're having a bet, the draw at half-time, and then, you know, I just think Fulham have got a chance. Newcastle, you never know. But Dwight Gale's got to start this time. But, you know, this is a tough game. Another tough game, will be Brighton against Sheffield United. Sheffield United obviously play Man United tonight. They're 12 league games so far before tonight. They've got 1 point. But Brighton's last 10 home games, they've drawn 4 and lost 6. Surely they've got to win this.
Well, they have to win this. I mean, you can't believe this is the same Sheffield United team that were fighting top 6 last year.
Yeah.
They were right at the top there, hurting all the teams. This year it's just complete meltdown from the team. Yeah. I'm hoping that United get a positive result against them to keep them down there. But this game can go either way. But I'll be leaning towards Brighton.
Yeah, me too. They play well, as Steve said. You know, I watched them the other day. They should have beat Spurs. They just can't score. Danny Welbeck missed a great chance against Leicester. If they can't win this, Brighton, they are definitely in the relegation battle. On to the second page. My bet of the weekend, Tottenham Hotspur. Reason being, you can imagine that bus trip back. I'm sure several experienced players would have gone to Mourinho with all his arrogance and said, listen, we lost this game because we didn't have a go. You know, Leicester, watched them last night. John O'Shea was missing. Their back four is terrible. And Didi played at the back. Surely they've got to get a result and rebound.
Yeah, I mean, the two boys up front for Spurs should be hurting a team like Leicester at the back when they've got a 20-year-old leading defence.
Yeah.
So, but you don't know what Mourinho is going to do. If he comes under pressure early, he plays a defensive game and then he tries to play on the break. If that doesn't materialise for them, and then Leicester grow in confidence, I'm leaning towards a draw in this game. I'm not a big Spurs fan because of the style that Mourinho brings. Yeah. But the two boys, Kane and Song, they can really play well. They can hurt you at all times in a game. Yeah. But I'm leaning towards a draw,
Yeah, I fancy Tottenham. You just can't have Leicester. Anyway, Man United, our boys against Leeds United. I know my Man United boys in England told me there's 3 teams you never back. One is Liverpool, one is Man City, and the other one is Leeds United. So I know there's been bad blood between these teams for years. Just as well there's no fans at the game because I'm sure there have been a bit of trouble before. Leeds were superb last night. I didn't watch a lot of it. I watched the last half an hour. They're a Grand Prix team. Can Man United pick them off?
I'm hoping so because I was quite impressed with Leeds last night. They're a very fit side.
Yeah.
They chase everything on the park. They don't give you any time to dwell on the ball. But you would think with the class and the players United have, they should do really well. I mean, Leeds, their last 5 games away, they've won 3, lost 2. So their form is not bad. Yeah. Where United at home have won 1, drawn 4 and lost 3. Yeah. So... But you would think the class of United and some of the big players need to start stepping up and getting it. They're really close to the top of the table, so they need to win a game like this.
Yeah. One thing where Leeds are weak, they conceded 2 goals to crosses and set pieces. United should expose them. Now West Brom, who replaced their manager, player their local derby against Aston Villa. Aston Villa played tonight against Burnley. West Brom fought hard against Man City. The goalkeeper made brilliant saves. Can you see an upset?
I'm leaning towards Aston Villa quite big on this game. I know a new manager comes in and the guys tend to raise their game a little bit.
Yeah.
But Villa, I mean, they've just set the world alight here. They've looked so fantastic going forward. Greenish is really carrying this team again. I see 9-10 as a very good bet.
Yeah, I agree. Now, Monday night has Burnley against a Wolves team who surprised me when they beat Chelsea. Sorry. See them repeating it?
Yeah, I think Wolves will win this game. Burnley, hard to beat on their patch. You know, Sean Dyche will get them up for the game and get them committed and going forward. I think Wolves may be turning the corner now. They've got some really good players. Yeah. I think it was Dino that scored the goal for Wolves. Quite a good player, strong left foot, took his goal very well to win the game against Chelsea. And Chelsea were looking to push forward in that game.
Yeah, cool.
So they gave him a little bit of space and he got behind and he punished them. So I'm leaning towards Wolves.
Yeah, I think the draw's a big player there. Burnley won't push out like Chelsea did. Talking to Chelsea at home to West Ham, the last couple of games, surely, what amazed me, Gav, everybody wants 5 substitutions. Okay, but Chelsea made 2 changes from the team on the weekend. Surely if you're going to change it, you change your starting 11. You know, how does that work?
Yeah, 100%. You want to, like I said, you want to keep the consistency with your team. That's the secret with the teams doing really well. I think with Liverpool winning the league, they hardly changed their team and the players set into a pattern and they just kept on pushing forward. Chelsea need to get into that pattern of winning. To be a bit of a derby game, it's a London derby. So it's a big game for both teams. I think that both teams will be up for it. But you've got to lean towards Chelsea being on their home patch.
Yeah, I think a draw's a player. West Ham have only lost 1 in the last 6, and that was against Man United, and they didn't really deserve to do that. On to the Championship. I'll go through it on my own quickly. My boys, Preston, Friday night against Bristol City. This is one team we always beat, home or away. Would I take 13-10 Preston? No, I think there'll be goals in the game. I think a draw's a big player at 24-10. You know, 2 form teams. Norwich have won 7 of the last 9, and Cardiff have won 5 of the last 6. Should be a tight game, but I've got to go with Norwich. They look like they're coming straight back up, and the way it's going, they're scoring goals. You know, while it could be, I think, Norwich to win, both teams to score at 28-10, that will be my play in that game. Early kickoff, but Norwich for me. 2 strange teams. Birmingham at home, 1 draw and 4 defeats in their last 5, where Middlesbrough have drawn 2 and lost 3 of their last 5. I backed them last night, Middlesbrough. At home, they're a different story, but 2-1 the draw for me looks the best value draw of the weekend. Now, Brentford, I watched them play Watford. I thought they were the better team. They had a player sent off, 2 penalties. My only hassle with Brentford, while they should win, is they don't get beat, but they've won 5 and drawn 7 of their last 12, and 4 of those 5 were at home. So a draw has to be a player, and all my exotics, I'm throwing the draw in. On to our second page, Huddersfield and Watford. Watford's a team that I've backed to finish above Brentford. 11-10, I fancy them. A little bit disappointed, but Troy Deeney's back. And playing a Huddersfield team who have won their last 3 at home. Very direct team, but Watford have the experience, and I fancy Watford 11-10. Luton against Bournemouth. Bournemouth, the bookies' favourites to come back up. I fancy 8-10. I watched them the last away game. They beat Barnsley 4-0. Really impressive. Lucky to win 1-0 in the week. I think it's all on Bournemouth. Now, Millwall, Notts Forest, 2 teams that had good wins in midweek. A draw looks nailed on to me there. Millwall, funny team, don't get beat at home. They've only won 1 of the last 10, but drawn 6 of them. Notts Forest, away from home, they've lost their last 5. So tough game, but for me, 21-10 looks the player. Rotherham versus Derby. This is my best each way. I've liked what I've seen from Derby. 2 wins, 4 draws. They beat Swansea or 4th at home last night comfortably. I'm all over the 7-10. You know, Rotherham only won 1 of the last 7. Wayne Rooney and co for me. Our third page, we've got Sheffield Wednesday versus Coventry. 2 teams struggling. Sheffield Wednesday really struggling. Bottom of the league. 4 wins, 5 draws from their last 9. Against a Coventry team who've won 3 and drawn 5 of their last 8. I don't see Sheffield Wednesday winning. I fancied them last week and they let me down. So a draw has to be the player in that particular clash. Stoke Blackburn, I disagree with Steve. I've watched Blackburn. They're unlucky against Norwich, who are top of the league. I think goals look a formality, and I fancy Blackburn of the two teams to score a few goals. Swansea to beat Barnsley. Really disappointed in Swansea last night. But at home, they don't get beat at home. They've won 4 of the last 5 against the Barnsley team, who are improving. But I just think Swansea should have too much of them. And last but not least, I think there'll be goals in a game between two strugglers. Wickham haven't won in the last 9, so I've got to go for it. Where QPR haven't won in the last 6. I fancy QPR, they've got better goal scorers, but that could go either way. On to the PSL. We haven't got betting because due to last night, bookmakers don't bring the betting out until Thursday lunchtime. Gav, Kaiser Chiefs.
Oh, Gavin's under big pressure, under serious pressure at Chiefs. They're really struggling.
Yeah.
Something missing in the camp. I don't know what it is. I would have liked to have seen a couple of those Wits players come across to Chiefs and join Gavin. I think that would have strengthened it. But he doesn't seem to have a formation at the moment. It seems to be rotating the squad quite a lot, and a lot of young players in the Chiefs setup.
Yeah. But
he needs to start getting results. You can't be almost winning the league and losing about a point, I think it was, and then sitting bottom to mid-table. They're too big a club.
Yeah.
He needs to get results.
All right, talking about results, Maritzburg got tailed off. They've only got 1 point from their 7 games. You see that changing against Stellenbosch?
It's a tough game for Maritzburg. It's such a nice team. They've done so well. They've fought hard over the years to get where they are. And then this year, they just seem to be slipping and sliding. Yeah. I think it was the wrong move to get rid of Tinkler. I think you got to give a coach time and let him develop the team and bring in some new players. Tough game tonight. I'm leaning towards a draw in this game. I think Stellenbosch are quite hard to beat and break down. So a draw for me looks like a big play, whatever price it is.
Steve Barker's done a good job, I agree. I was impressed with Maritzburg. They got beat 2-1 by Sundowns in their last home game. This is a great chance, but Steve Barker, he'll have his troops fired up. Now, Baraka, in and out team, had a good start. You see them upsetting SuperSport?
SuperSport, one of those teams where when you think they're going to win easy, they end up letting you down.
Yeah.
But after watching them play against Chiefs and taking their chances, Bradley's playing well up front for them. Yeah. I think SuperSport will get a positive result. Yeah, I think maybe a 2-1 or a 1-0. But the South African team is just battle to score goals and set the goals up properly. They almost sometimes feel like it was a mistake by defence and then they slip in the goal. But I'm leaning towards SuperSport to win this one.
No, one team who's scoring goals for fun are Sundowns. They play a Golden Arrows team who beat Amazulu last night. I watched the game. Amazulu, their owners come out and said they're going to finish in the top 4. They're going to finish in the bottom 4.
Bottom 4.
But Arrows played well. Can they upset Sundowns?
A tough team, Golden Arrows. They've been around in the PSL for a number of years now, and they seem to hold their own. It's not going to be an easy game for Sundowns coming down here. Arrows, if you watched the game last night, they gave Amazulu the runaround again. Yeah. Amazulu are nowhere near top 8 team at the moment. Nowhere. But Sundowns have been the champions that they are, a good ball-playing team. I think they're the only team in South Africa that really knocks the ball around like a professional setup and like the English leagues. I'm leaning towards Sundowns to win this one.
Yeah, I wouldn't change you. On to our second page. We've got Kaiser Chiefs against Plum Celtic. Can Chiefs rebound?
Sure, this is a tough game because it's like a big derby for these two teams. Big clubs, both of them are very big clubs. Chiefs way out of form. Celtic doing well in the cup final, just getting shaded at the end. Another game that Gavin needs to win, but I'm leaning towards the draw. I think the draw's a big player. Yeah,
I like Celtic. The last night I fancied them. I was just a little bit worried about how they would react from losing the cup final, but they won last night. And, Gavin can't buy a win, so I just, team out of form, you stay go away against them. I won't be having a bet, but if in my exotics, I'll be taking all 3. Now, this could be a desperation and relegation battle between Amazulu and Chipper. How do you see it?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Chipper to win this game. Purely that Chipper have been around a little bit, I wouldn't say with the coaching staff, because they change their coaching staff around all the time, but they seem to be a little bit more consistent in their play. Where Amazulu 3-0, 2-0, they're not a consistent team. I'm leaning towards Chipper to win this one, maybe 1-0.
Yeah, Benny takes over Amazulu, Benny McCarthy. He was sitting in the stand last night. There's nothing worse when a good guy like Ayanda Lamini loses his job. Now you get a superstar come in. There's no loyalty. I know, but I just don't see it. Expect a draw. Anything's possible, but a draw would be my play in that particular game. And the last game is Black Leopards against Swallows. Swallows have done great.
I've watched Swallows once or twice on the telly, and they've done really well. I mean, they're back four, they've got some nice players, comfortable on the ball, so they're not giving away much. Very hard tacklers, so they do put a bit of fear into the strikers when they do hit them.
They get stuck
but
in.
a very tough game, but Swallows are really playing well. I'm thinking that Swallows could win this game. The teams that get promoted, normally they first season they full out.
Yeah.
I think if Swallows can just build on this as the season progresses, they could finish maybe in the top 10 of the league, even higher. I'm leaning towards them.
Yeah, we all remember Morocco Swallows in our day. We chased many a shadow
Chased
with
many
Ace
a shadows.
Manini and Aubrey the Great, Macapella and co. Yeah, I think Swallows of the two teams, but it draws a big player.
Yeah, big player.
Okay. On to our Saturday soccer exotics. We kick off with a soccer 6. I'm going Super Sport, win and draw at home against Baraka. I'm going Mamelodi Sundowns, looking for the upset to avoid defeat against Arrows. I'm bankering Cape Town City to beat TS Galaxy. I'm going the field in the Kaiser Chiefs Plum Celtic game. I fancy Everton to beat Arsenal. And I'm going the field in the Newcastle United Fulham fixture, 2-1-6. Our second soccer 6. I'm going Middlesbrough, win and draw at Birmingham. I'm throwing the draw in with Man City away at Southampton. I think a draw will be a certainty, but I'm going Millwall, win and draw at home against Nottingham Forest. I fancy Derby County to win at Rotherham United. I'm going Coventry City to avoid defeat at Sheffield Wednesday, and staying with another away team in Blackburn Rovers to avoid defeat at Stoke City. On to our soccer 10. I'm going bankering Supersport to beat Baraka. I'm bankering Mamelodi Sundowns to beat Golden Arrows. I'm going Hellas Verona, win and draw at Fiorentina. I'm going the field in the Augsburg versus Eintracht Frankfurt match. I'm going Man City, win and draw at Southampton. Our second page, I'm bankering Cape Town City to beat TS Galaxy. I'm going the field in the Kaiser Chiefs versus Plum Celtic fixture. I'm going Bayern Munich to avoid defeat at Bayer Leverkusen. I'm bankering Everton to beat Arsenal, and ending with Newcastle United win and draw at home against Fulham, 288. On to the soccer 13. I'm going Man City win and draw at Southampton. I'm bankering Everton to beat Arsenal. I'm going Newcastle United win and draw at Fulham. I'm going Blackburn Rovers win and draw at Stoke City. I'm bankering Brentford to beat Reading. I'm going Middlesbrough win and draw at Birmingham City. I'm hoping Watford will be too good to win at Huddersfield Town. Our second page, I'm bankering Swansea to beat Barnsley. Millwall win and draw at home against Notts Forest. And I'm bankering two away teams, Bournemouth to beat Luton Town and Derby to beat Rotherham United. I've gone Coventry City, win and draw at Sheffield Wednesday, and ended up with Queen's Park Rangers, win and draw at Wycombe Wanderers, 256. On to our budgies bets for the weekend. We start off with a Premiership treble. I'm going Everton to beat Arsenal. I'm going Man United to beat Leeds United and over 2.5 total goals. And I'm going Brighton to beat Sheffield United and both teams to score, 4,400 to 200. Our Championship treble, I'm going Derby to beat Rotherham. Swansea to beat Barnsley, and I'm going Bournemouth to beat Luton Town and over 2.5 goals. 2,500 to 200. Our both teams to score sides are Crystal Palace Liverpool, Southampton Man City, Tottenham Leicester, West Brom Aston Villa, and Chelsea West Ham. It worked out just over 11 to 1. Our team goals only. I'm going Everton, Southampton, and Blackburn, all to score over 1.5 goals. It's a minimum of 2 goals. 16 to 1, 3,200 to 200 is our bet. Over 2.5 goals is in the show because we're no PSL betting. So over 2.5 goals in the following games: Southampton Man City, Man United Leeds United, West Brom Aston Villa, Stoke Blackburn Rovers, and Wycombe Queen's Park Rangers, 2,600 to 200. Our Collis King, 6 or Nixa. I'm going Brighton to beat Sheffield United. I'm hoping Man United will be too good for Leeds United. I think Bournemouth will beat Luton. Brentford will beat Reading, and ended up with the Madrid teams. I'm going Atletico Madrid to beat Elche and Real Madrid to beat Eibar, 3,000 to 200. Gav, I know you love a punt.
But I'm going to go with Aston Villa. I think Aston Villa
is that your Premiership good thing, eh?
Yeah, and then I think with the value bets, I think I'm going to go with Fulham. I think Fulham can cause a bit of an upset. against Newcastle. So the double should work out a nice 3-4-1 for the guys.
I always look at it. I always go for teams that are playing well. You don't hope. Rather back a winner till he loses and a loser till he wins.
I think a lot of us try and manufacture a result.
Yeah.
The worst thing to do is try and manufacture a result for yourself, and you end up getting it all wrong.
Yeah.
Just look at the form and then see the teams that are playing. Yeah. And remember that most of the teams win their home games.
Yeah, well, without fans, but I think
Saying
it'll
that
change
my
shortly.
bet's all away this weekend.
Yeah, it's true. Guys, thank you very much to the last one standing guys on Man United and Aston Villa. Holding thumbs, good luck. And to the rest of you, please remember to stay on side.